I just thought I'd make this video because over the years I've stayed in a number of condos in Thailand and I've learned certain things about the pluses and minuses that might not be obvious to the novice traveler. So first of all, in Thailand, it's important to have a place that you can hide from the pollution. And the pollution's everywhere because there's localized garbage burning, even if there's not like massive agricultural burning where you are, depending on the time of year. So there are going to be long periods of time for which you have to sort of shut yourself in the apartment. And it's really important to be able to have cabinetry like this that's made of wood instead of synthetics that are going to off gas. So here you see tile floors, wooden cabinetry, and just metal. The air inside is quite clean, and it seems to have been painted with low VOC paint, which is a big deal. The other thing is the air conditioner. The air conditioner tends to be full of mold, so make sure that that's clean. Now, even though the air pollution in Thailand is not constant, it can sometimes go on for hours or even days. So I recommend tile flooring because the chemicals that are used in wood flooring or laminate flooring are going to make you quite ill while you're stuck in the condo. I suggest that you get your air conditioner professionally cleaned because a lot of times the landlords don't look out for that, and often there's disgusting amounts of black mold that have already built up in the cooling fins, and it requires some professional cleaning and equipment to remove that. And by the way, after the cleaning, it'll probably smell like toxic chemicals for a while, so just make sure to run the fan on the unit for a few hours to get that out. Oh, and make sure to search the internet for the instructions for the remote control for your particular AC. It's not just as simple as turning the temperature up and down. There are a variety of controls for humidity, fan speed, etc. that can affect your comfort level and also regulate the rate at which mold accumulates in the unit. The next thing to be aware of is bedding. There's a lot of bed frames, for instance, that are held together with particle board, which is bound up using formaldehyde or other toxic chemicals sometimes. And the mattresses themselves can be loaded with synthetics that give you headaches and make you want to vomit instead of going to sleep. So check out the bed before you move in. Another issue that's really important is bathroom ventilation and ideally kitchen ventilation. Most places in Thailand don't have kitchen ventilation, so if you end up like frying something, the smoke is going to fill the entire unit and it's really horrible. Now, bathroom ventilation is equally important, obviously, especially because if you let steam build up in the bathroom, then you're going to start actually getting mold. And if you have a wood door, like in this case, it's going to start warping. And if you have a really cheap door frame, it might even start peeling off. So just make sure to look for a fan in the ceiling and test that it actually works before you move in. And as in this case, we often have sinks where there's little to no storage, so you can't put anything there that you actually need to get yourself ready in the morning. And by the way, it's very common to have the metal fixtures like the faucet here just completely corrode and fall apart in a matter of months. So do check on the brand that they're using, especially if you're intending to buy. And if it's not obvious, you might want to avoid bathrooms where there's literally no shower curtain or divider between the shower and the toilet. So basically every time you take a shower, it destroys all your toilet paper. Maintenance in Thailand is pretty hit or miss, so if you're considering buying a condo, then definitely check out some of the developers' older buildings and see how they're taken care of. In the rainier areas of Thailand, which is most of Thailand, you're going to be getting a lot of ceiling leaks due to improperly sealed roofs. And when this happens, you can get electrical shorts that turn off your lights. By the way, it pays to be as close as possible to a grocery store so that you don't have to order some kind of toxic takeout or rely on transportation that might cost you a lot of money in order to get your food. Many condos also come equipped with a kettle so you can boil water, but you definitely shouldn't drink tap water in any form. Most of the sink drains in Thailand are J-shaped, which is really useful because the water accumulates at the bottom of the J and prevents air from flowing from the sewer into the room. Unfortunately, it seems that this is not the case for most of the bathroom drains, including floor drains and shower drains. So toxic fumes from the sewer flow back into the room with time. And if you're living in the room for an extended period of time, because maybe it's polluted outside, you're going to be inhaling this stuff pretty much all day long, and it's definitely not good for your health. So the best thing to do is use one of these handy rubber stoppers and just cover the drain. Of course, be careful, because if you have a leak somewhere, then you may end up with a flood, which destroys the entire floor. If it's not obvious, the view also matters. Do you really want to be looking into your neighbor's bathroom when you get up in the morning? Or do you want to look at an industrial waste dump? Or do you want to be right across from that neighbor who's always burning plastic bottles? Speaking of plastic bottles, you don't need to drink out of them to get clean water. Instead, you can buy one of these large plastic jugs and take them downstairs, where in most modern condos in Thailand, you have a reverse osmosis machine at your disposal, which produces perfectly clean, drinkable water. And finally, make sure to use the timer on your phone when you do the laundry so that some other tourist doesn't come up and pull everything out and throw it on the floor in frustration. And in case you wanted to know, this particular condo is called Central Gear. It's located very near to the Central Phuket department store. Indeed, Phuket, and for that matter, Koh Samui and Krabi, have some of the cleanest air in Thailand. But even then, it seems that you have people burning garbage, and in particular plastic, in addition to the food vendors on the street that occasionally grill meat in such a way that the smoke fills an entire neighborhood and destroys the quality of life for hundreds of people. One other thing, you can't even necessarily go to the gym to sort of deal with the fact that you're stuck in the condo all day when it's polluted, because if you do, the gym typically is bottled up also and smells like plastic and rubber. Anyway, that's all from me.